Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Wakwakwidash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, and shalom to the mighty Akim, Wakwathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. Shalom to the speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawakab coming at you with another lesson, and today's lesson, I don't know how long it's going to be, but might be a short lesson, but this was just something that I had just thought of right before I went to sleep last night, where it's like I have been the thing, and Slocky, I'm not trying to say this in like a feel sorry for me type of way. It's just a thing that I notice is kind of spiritual, and that's the thing. Slocky, that's the thing about certain things. There's a spiritual parallel to certain things where you're able to see, okay, you know what, I see why X, Y, and Z happens, you know, there's this, that, and third and whatnot. And the thing about me is how I feel like I've just always had stuff taken from me, like, and when I say stuff taken from me, I mean in a sense of like, I would, when I was younger, when I was like a kid and whatnot, there would always be times when, okay, you know what, yeah, I got something from a family member, or I got something in Precious, or I was saving up money and I got this and I got that or whatever. So I basically had, you know, accumulated a treasure trove of things that might not have been valuable, all right, to the layman, but just valuable only to me. So I would consider them treasures, okay? So treasures and stuff like that. And that's really the thing where when I said to myself last night, you know, I always had treasures stolen from me, then that's what invoked me to make this lesson, because every time, or Slocky, let me correct myself, most of the time that I would accumulate treasure, it would always just be stolen from me by some way, somehow. I always had something that is just like, okay, well, yeah, there's this nice rare thing, there's this thing, there's whatever, and then, like, lo and behold, like, I don't know, just like, I can also understand that, you know what, judgment from the Lord, because I know I wasn't the best person, I wasn't the best child or whatever, all right, and I definitely believe that a lot of the stuff that happened to me when I was a child, it was definitely judgment from the Lord for just me not being the best person. I believe that is spiritual, but also the thing about that is how, you know, like, I am over here, a lot of the things that I had, it's just like, this is very precious to me and I don't want to lose it. And let's just get this to start. 1 John 2 verse 15, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And I think this was probably to build me up in the spirit, to acknowledge and understand that, you know, you cannot be getting attached to these worldly things. So as a result of that, that's basically what happened, where I would get very attached to these worldly things, these treasures, as I said that they were, and I would just think, okay, you know what, I'm never going to part with these. I have these things, I'm gonna hide them over here in some corner in my room or whatever, or some place. I would hide them, like, you know, as if like a pirate hiding their booty and whatnot, their treasure. That's basically how I would be with certain things, okay? Because again, as I said before, they might not have been. Well, some of them were valuable, all right, and some of them were genuinely worth a lot of money, all right. And but at the end of the day, All right, I definitely remember one thing that was super rare. It was a collectible item that literally I just lost. Like, it's just like, what the fuck? All right, so I'm over here losing all of my valuables, all of my accumulated treasures. All right, simply because of so many different things like that happen. And I obviously I got mad at the time. I was like, oh my god, why did this shit happen? This X, Y, Z, blah blah blah, for all the different ways that they happen, where I lost this stuff. And again, it's like, of course it is angering. Of course it is something. It's a loss, but like, and of course they were mine. But at the same time, it's like, looking back at it, it's just like, this is the thing that I cannot do. Or even better, like, let me get this. All right, so you can have a better understanding. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive an mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And that's basically the thing where you have to understand, like, if you get to a spot, if you get to a position, okay, in this kingdom, in a particular era of Esau's kingdom, where he said, if you don't get this MARK, you're going to lose your money, you're going to lose your stuff, you're going to lose your home, you're going to lose X, Y, and Z. All right, where that's the thing where you have treasures, you have things that you consider valuable to you, and you do not want to lose them. So as a result of that, you're willing to make that sacrifice. And that's where I think a lot of us, maybe we didn't really fully consider that. All right, where you feel like, oh yeah, when Jacob's trouble comes, when the MARK comes and whatnot, oh yeah, I'm definitely not going to take it. But then, like, what if the question becomes, what if your treasures, all right, your worldly treasures are on the line, and then they're being threatened, and you're gonna lose those things that you cherish. All right, like, that's the thing that now like goes through my mind, where it is an extra layer of, am I going to take the MOTB in order to preserve those things? And to be honest, like, now that I've had the retrospective and I've lost so many things, like, I've genuinely lost like thousands of dollars worth of stuff. All right, I can rest easier now, knowing that I feel like I might be able to. I might be able to what's the word? I might be able to give up, because I don't really have anything like that anymore. Like, all the real stuff, it was gone. I lost all the real stuff. So all my stuff now is like, oh well, sure, I guess. Like, I don't really care. I don't need this shit, because this shit is the rest of the leftover stuff that I have. Okay, well, whatever. Like, this is just here. All right, and like, Slakia, I don't mean to talk this way, but it's just like, that's just the reality of it, where it's like, I kind of do not care about my stuff anymore, simply because I don't have my stuff. Like, that, and that it does not get any more plain than that. It does not get any more plain than that. It literally is just a simple matter of, I don't all of my treasures that I had and that I cared about, I don't have it anymore. So, like, that's the thing that you really need to understand. Like, when stuff like this happens to you, it is all a part of the plan of YAHAWAH, because that could have been that is the way. Sometimes, that's sometimes the way that the Lord ends up protecting us. All right, because rather than allowing us to develop that dependency, that emotional dependency, that emotional attachment to certain things. He just makes it so that, okay, well, you instead, you just don't have it, okay? Because this is clearly a stumbling block to you, and it's something that's going to impede your progress, because you're too attached to this rather than your attachment to YAHAWAH. And even though, of course, again, I'm gonna say that my emotional attachments to my previous what's the word, possessions, my previous treasures, they were definitely high. Like I would literally like hold these stuff like they were, like, I don't know, limited edition type shit. Like, I don't know how those people do. Like, if you've seen how people do Pokemon cards, I did not have those Pokemon cards, by the way. But if you saw how those people treated their Pokemon cards, like, if you even touch it the wrong way, then you could literally lower the value and stuff like that. That's basically how I was treating my stuff. Like, I was very selective about what I did and who I let around it. All right. And funnily enough, me being dumb enough to say, hey, you guys want to see my thing? You want to see my stuff? That also led to me losing my shit. All right. Like that. And these are all lessons learned. All right. These are all lessons learned where I am so super selective and I do not show off as much. Okay. I may show off to people to people I trust. Sure. All right. That's it. But even then, all right, that is something that is just like, it's very rare. Like, it's like super, you have to be super tight with me to even be considered to see, to be considered to see whatever my treasures are, because like I do not show off anymore. I barely even show off regular stuff like, or whatever. All right, I'm very low key now, because like there is like, I don't even know if that's an appropriate term to say, but there's like a trauma that comes into you constantly losing your shit. All right, where you have to say, okay, well, I want to be more careful now, and I consider this. All right, but let's continue. Matthew chapter 6, because this is basically the main thing. This was the primary verse that came to mind. All right, Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So now, there's something that I have to come to terms with, and I have to acknowledge it, which is the fact that my heart, all right, my treasure and my heart was in the world. All right. So simply having these things, all right, which, there are still certain things that might make you have an attachment to it, but it's like, at the same time you have to think, sometimes sometimes it is possible to just give up certain things, type of in when it comes to the YAHAWASHI, especially if after you've developed that, okay, you know what, I see my love for YAHAWASHI more now so than ever. So as a result of that, I'm able to give certain things up and not be so reliant or emotionally attached to said things. All right, simply because what, you could say that you're going to get it in the kingdom of heaven, or there's going to be better in the kingdom of heaven. Which, let me see, get this. John 14:2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you I go to prepare a place for you. Basically, over here, you have to understand, like, as a matter of fact, let me also get this. In addition to this, so both of these, it's not just one.
But Simon did not stop at listening. He experimented small, subtle things at first, leaving a latch slightly looser than usual, just to note which hound pushed harder against it, changing the time of a meal.
1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. But as it is written, eye hath not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Yahweh hath prepared for them that love him. And that's basically the thing where, we haven't seen, we haven't heard, imagined, or even fathom what the Lord is preparing for us. So as a result of that, what is going on with us is that we need to heavily focus on the kingdom, because the kingdom is where everything is at. While you might have certain things, oh yeah, I like this nice shoes, or I like this car, or whatever, because it has sentimental value to you, if not literal value, monetary value in general. Okay, which regardless of the thing where you acknowledge something as a treasure, the thing is that at the end of the day, these blessings, these things that we have, it is temporary, and it is it's kind of a distraction. Okay, it's not something to really, what's the word, fixate on. All right, so yeah, like this was just the thing, because number one, the surface level of it is that, oh well, you don't need to worry about that, because okay, well, the kingdom is going to be better. All right, the kingdom is going to be better. All right, so why would I focus on that when I can just focus on the kingdom? All right, now the next thing, which is more important, is just, are you able to say, okay, you know what, I know I can have this, or I know I always wanted this, but are you able to give that up for YAHAWASHI? And that's been something that has been an issue. Not necessarily an issue. That's a wrong term. That's been that's the thing that I've been growing to practice myself, where there are certain things that I like to do, and what I do is I make sure I prioritize the Lord above my hobbies, my interests, or my quote unquote treasures. All right, so rather than wasting my money on accumulating more treasures again, I just let me save this, because I'm not going to what's the word? I'm not going to what's the damn word? I'm not gonna accumulate treasures anymore, because I have the kingdom to wait for. Because the thing is, we all have our own things, which again, this is just something that I personally did. If you have a hobby, if you have certain things that you want, you're allowed to have hobbies. You're allowed to do that. I think it's also even encouraged so that you do not experience burnout. All right, it's good that you do not experience burnout from this truth, but it's definitely good to have hobbies and stuff like that. But the main thing is just, are you able to, in your mind, tell yourself, yes, I love my hobbies, but I love the Lord more. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to abandon whatever hobby you have, and then just go to the Lord. And that's the thing where, in the day, Jacob's trouble, when you have to leave the world behind, whatever. All right, your flight, praying that your flight. Let me get this. Mark chapter 13, verse 18, and pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. All right, so basically, when that time comes, pray that the Lord prepares you, and that you are able to say, like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. And hell, I remember it was one brother. He had a dream, as a matter of fact, where he had a dream where what happened was he had to leave. He had to pack light and leave, and he wanted to get his one thing. He wanted to get this one thing, one of his treasures, his one, most prized possession treasure with him, but he couldn't get a proper bag, and that was slowing him down. And basically, he woke up before he could leave. But the thing was that treasure of his was slowing him down, and it didn't let him leave on time. All right, and that's the thing. When he told me, I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I think that dream is not just for him, but it's also for me, because that's some stuff that I feel like I would do as well. All right, and again, like this all goes back into self-reflection. Like, are you able to say, okay, you know what? I know I love this, but I'm gonna have to leave this alone. Like, I'm not taking this with me. All right. So, yeah, Slakia, about this lesson. This was just something that I thought I wanted to do. I felt the need to do it simply because, like, man, I was just thinking about this. It kind of hurt remembering the stuff that I had lost. Like, I genuinely lost a lot. Like, I'm telling you. All right, so many things that had sentimental values and monetary value. It was a lot. It was a big loss. All right, but anyway, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, Wakwakwidash, double honor to the elders and apostles, Ray Millstone, Abad Ball, and Shalom.